So welcome back everyone, and I didn't think that I'd be doing this video, but since we had a pretty bad month like this, I thought it was important to do it. March was not a very good month for a lot of swing and a lot of day traders. And if you look at what I have pulled up here is my M1 Finance portfolio, which I started back in October 2019. This channel was supposed to be mostly dividend eccentric, and then I had to change your mind, so we switched it over. And the strategy was pretty great. I was constantly adding to I was constantly adding to my dividends. You can see here my portfolio balance kept increasing, and then these enormous jumps was when I deposited more, of course. And if you see the steady going up, that's me, of course, adding, and that's market gains, and as well as dividends adding and constantly adding and adding. And we were on a pretty good path where, for a couple months we were doing great, and then we had the crash come in March, where my balance dropped from 17, well, almost 18,000 to 13,000. That was a pretty big hit for me, but I was very excited that came through. That I actually jumped in too quick. Instead of catching the bottom, I catch the falling knife, basically. I mean, of course the stocks did recover, but I was so excited about the crash that I jumped in too early. And as that, I used all my cash down there, or most of the cash that I had, I used it, and I didn't get as good as a return as a lot of other people did, because I bought essentially the first pullback. I bought a little too much, and that was my first mistake, where I went in too quick and I went in too hot. And then, as you can see, the market finally bottomed out on the 23rd, I believe it was. And after that, we had a quick spike up in a couple of days, and then after that, it was choppy waters. And as you can see, we continue the line. We continue to go up and up and up and up, and we hit a nice high of 27,000 back in October 12th, and that was mostly deposits, and of course the market kept roaring back. I was buying a lot of Disney and a lot of I believe Disney, Apple, Microsoft. I bought a lot of those. And if you look at the activity, I was also receiving a lot of dividends, because it was a dividend portfolio. Everybody wishes that they bought in 2009. Yeah, I mean, you wish that you bought back then and would have held it to this high. You would have been up substantially. I, however, I think I went in too far, and here you can see that my dividends were coming in. AT&T $30, JP Morgan $10, and I started. Of course, I kept adding, and then you see dividends from other companies. Store Capital, Realty Income. That's a famous REIT that everybody knows because it pays monthly. Main Street Capital, that one's not as known, and then of course a lot of other states property. And what I wanted to look at this portfolio is why I'm happy that I switched this strategy. I didn't completely quit dividend investing, because dividend investing is just passive income. Everybody loves passive income. I mean, the feeling to be able to do nothing and make money. I'm sure everybody loves that feeling. So I didn't fully stop. But when I came to October, a friend, I was actually buying a house, which I finally actually closed on today. A friend called me over, and after I had withdrawn the money, because I was like, I didn't want to lose any more money. He called me over, and he said, buy this stock. And at that time, that stock was CIIC. Everybody knows it as I think Virgin. It's called Virgin. No, it wasn't Virgin Galactic. It was Arrival. The company with the British. It's a British electric company with micro factories. It was featured on CNBC. He called me over. After I had withdrawn all my money, and I was like, you know what, this market's a little too choppy. I wanna make sure that everything's safe. I don't want a second crash to come. As I get closer to buying a house, he called me over and he said, buy the stock. I was fine. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. And this is the thing. I was mostly just a dividend investor. I didn't, I wasn't I didn't do any other strategy. I didn't do any swings. I didn't do any day trading. I just stuck to dividend investing religiously, as I wanted to get this portfolio to 100K. He called me over, told me to buy it. I did. And when that first happened, that stock went up 100% in literally 3 days. And I was shocked when that happened, because I mean, as a dividend investor or as an index fund investor, you're used to 10% returns every year. That's a good return on a good year. That's an average return, and getting a 20% return is incredible. You just double the average. So he told me to buy that stock, and after it went up 100%, I started investigating. I was like, what's causing all these these companies to these stocks prices to go up so crazy? Then I was able to look into the Federal Reserve printing money, just injecting more money and more money into the economy, and investors, and people with so much free time that they picked up a lot of new things. We had a lot of new people are in the stock market than there were before, because of the current situation that we're in still, which is hopefully coming to an end. And again, my thoughts and prayers to anyone that lost anyone because of this crisis. And I was investigating and seeing what was happening, and I started buying these SPACs. It was a SPAC. These SPACs were coming in and doing 100% returns as soon as they announced the deal, and as well as many other penny stocks. Everything was essentially going up. And if looking at my Robinhood chart, I started in November. As soon as he called me, I started. I bought that stock, and I kept going through and just gaining more and more. By a couple of weeks, I was already up $3,000. The next couple of weeks, I was up $17,000, and then we had a small rotation in December, or I guess you could call it the tax sell-off. I guess people were. I guess that's usually the period where people sell winners or sell losers to use them for that year or whatever. We had a rotation, and at that point we were up 17,000, but I was actually a little bit more. I know we were up around 24,000, and usually Robinhood doesn't show the exact points of that spike. It just shows what I think it records at the end of the day. And then we fell a massive amount. We fell, I think, almost 14,000. Most of my gains have been almost wiped out by that crash, but I held on to them because I like the companies that I had. I think I paid a decent price for that, and since then, we just went on a tear. I mean, we managed to get, just from the Robinhood account, $81,000, which was a return. I had a return of 250+%, just by switching and taking advantage of the bull market that we're currently in, and hopefully it keeps going. I was able to finally get my net worth above 100,000 for the first time, and we reached that point back in February 4th. Here I have that pin as my tweet on Twitter. If you guys want to follow me, it's in my description and should be at the top of the YouTube banner page. For the first time, I reached an $100,000 portfolio in February 4th. And I was so happy and grateful, because I was like, that was the moment that I wanted to, that was the point that I wanted to get to. And I didn't think that I would see this number until maybe 2025, 2030. I thought that I didn't think that I would see this number for a very, very long time, especially at my age right now. I'm currently 20 years old. I didn't expect to see this, till age 20, age 25, age 30. And here we have, on that day, we made close to $16,000. We made $8,500 during the day, and then we made $6,200 during the after hours. And as soon as I reached that, because at that point I was day trading, as soon as I reached that, I was like, you know what, I'm out. I sold the stock, and then that stock actually went much higher, and I could have probably ended way higher, but I decided to, I reached my goal. Let me not get cocky, and I sold it. And I'm happy I did, actually, because this was something that I never thought that I would see. Making $14,000 in one day. It's insane. And since I started this process in November 2020, I have been averaging $28,000 per month, essentially. Counting in my other Webull account. And to this point, I'm at right now my net worth is $124,000. And here it starts with the same path. When we started back in August, this is meant. You could use this app to track your budgets and your net worth, of course, your spending and income. I'm not being sponsored by them or anything like that. I just use them to keep track of my finances. Here was the start. We had $2,000 on hand and $21,000 of debt, and as you can see, it keeps growing as we go over time. You can see, I was focused on investing and just retiring soon. That's what I wanted. And here we see the massive jumps when. Here's the first massive jump. From September 20 to October, that was the first massive jump. Then, of course, we had that small pullback in December, and then we had an incredible jump of $100,000 in February, which is when I reached my goal. I finally, and I also added my accounts, and that was the moment where investing. I feel like until you get above that 100,000 mark, just like Charlie Munger says, that is that's the hardest point. After that, if you put 100,000 in your normal average day index fund, that provides a 10% return, that's an easy $10,000 every year. That, because of course that's the average return, and after, and then you want to keep adding and adding, and your gains keep compounding, and that amount keeps increasing. Until all of a sudden you essentially you can essentially quit your job, or maybe even get a part-time job as you try to replace the income with the returns that you get from your portfolio. And that was the point where I was just so happy when I reached that amount, that I was glad to finally be there. I thought that was going to take a while, but all I had to do was just, I'm glad I listened, that I just switched this strategy and took advantage of the bull market. And I'm saying this because I know that a lot of other people can do it. You don't have to, stick to one strategy. I wasn't even born here. I migrated from the Dominican Republic, where almost nothing, we had nothing on our backs, and investing changed my life, and I'm so glad, that I can help others and help everyone around me and get them to a point where where they want to be. And I know that a lot of other people can come, can do this too, and use this as an inspiration quote. Just back in 2019, I barely had just $1,000, cash, or at least that was what I was worth during that time, minus including all my debts that I have. And thanks to the stock market, we were able to add essentially $100,000 just in gains. And I didn't fully quit dividend investing. I just decided to switch over the strategy. And as soon as I actually hit this amount, I was like, you know what? Let me separate my accounts and make sure that I don't get a big hit, because at that time I had a couple positions. I was actually able to put some money into BlockFi, which pays an 8.6% yield. Of course, it carries a bit of risk, and I had them explain the risk, and hopefully I'll do a video on it soon to explain what they are. And this account pays me on $21,000. It pays me around $150 a month. Here so far, it paid me for this month. I've been paid $122. That's including $3 from last month when I was slowly depositing my money in. But now this account is going to pay me $150, and it's way more than any safe dividend company would pay me. And I'm glad, and I have this account here to keep adding to it, and then also I'll start another dividend portfolio soon to make sure that my accounts are safe, and that I have a good diversification between risk, because and anything that pays 8.6% has its risk, as well as stocks and dividends. They also have their risk. But it's again, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll make sure to keep sending out more videos like this. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.